Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video on the second channel. Today we're doing another predictions video. Today's is League One. We've done the Championship. Now it's time to go down a division into League One, and these are my predictions for next season. As always, I say it every time, these opinions are, my personal opinion. You're completely free to yours in the comment section down below. Just don't be mean about them. Let's start then with the bottom four. I've gone with bottom AFC Wimbledon, 23rd Port Vale, 22nd Northampton, and 21st Exeter City. Let's start with Wimbledon then. Incomings like Nathan Bishop, Alistair Smith from Lincoln, Joe McDonald from non-league Eastleigh. However, Josh Nuffield to Bradford I think is a big loss for them. I don't see really anything in that AFC Wimbledon team to keep them adrift from that bottom four. I really see them struggling next season. That's why I put them bottom. Port Vale's a little similar. I don't really see anything in that squad at the minute for me to keep them up. I have kept the likes of Lauren Tollard and Jane Stockley, while bringing in the likes of Jordan Gabriel, Cameron Humphreys. Darren Moore, obviously, the Port Vale manager, will be looking at least, I think, in my opinion, to keep them up next season. Will they do that? I personally don't think they will stay up. No, I think they'll go down. Next, Northampton Town. Let's have a look at this. Ross Fitzsimons and Michael Jacobs, the two former Chesterfield incomings for Northampton. Them two for me alone sort of cemented almost that relegation spot, because Michael Jacobs, on his day, quality player. His day is 1 in every 10 days, sort of thing. Same with Ross Fitzsimons. Did well to get Scunthorpe up. But in that playoff final a few years ago for us, he was just, he should have saved so many. And Notts fans constantly joke about it, which I mean is fair enough. We'd probably do the same. Let's move back onto Northampton now. I don't know about Northampton. They just don't look convincing to me. Kevin Nolan, their manager now, and with League One, with 4 going down, the largest in the top 4 divisions, 4 need to go down. It's going to be really tough to stay up, and I think they'll struggle next season. Northampton, 22nd for them. And just slipping into the relegation zone is Gary Caldwell's Exeter City. They were really quite disappointing towards the end of last season, and I think momentum is a big thing in football, and I think that will sort of carry on to this season. I think they'll struggle, Exeter. They have brought in some Premier League youth, the likes of Joe Whitworth and Ethan Brierley. Youth is always a big worry, with so much experience in League One now. Is it the right thing for these youth players to be going down? Maybe they should go down to League Two. Maybe they are the quality that it is of Exeter City. But youth always does worry me when making signings like that. And just Exeter in general. Their squad looks very, what's the word I can say, sort of unappealing to me. They don't look like a team that I can see getting 40, 50 points. That's why they've slipped into the bottom 4 for me. Next 3 then, I've got with 20th Burton Albion, 19th Rotherham, and 18th Mansfield. There's 2 main ones in here. Let's get away with the other one in Burton Albion. They'll just stay up, I think. I think they've got a half-decent squad. Jake Beasley seems to be a good transfer, as well as Fabio Tavares. Gary Bowyer, the man in charge at Burton. I think he'll keep them up. Only just, though. I think it's the sort of situation where they have a really poor season, but there's 4 poorer teams below them, which means they'll luckily stay up sort of season for Burton. Let's talk about Rotherham then, because I went to Rotherham not long ago, and I'll be honest, they didn't really play great. Their football was very unconvincing. However, this was February. This is when Steve Evans was still in charge. But by what I've read and heard by Rotherham fans is that their team is very young and not much doesn't seem to have changed at Rotherham. For example, the loan of Daniel Gore from Manchester United. So they're bringing in youth, but ask yourself, are Rotherham a team that need youth. They don't want to be relegated to League Two, do they? I mean, a few years ago, they were in the Championship. They're going down the wrong way at the minute, Rotherham. However, this season, I feel they'll just stay up. And Mansfield, well, with the badge I've got on my chest, it's going to be very interesting talking about Mansfield. I couldn't be an idiot, though, and say, you know, oh, bottom. I've got to be at least a little bit realistic. I don't think they'll go down. Mansfield, Nigel Clough is unfortunately a very good manager for them. Ryan Sweeney coming in from Burton on a free transfer. Regan Hendry from Tranmere. Liam Roberts, goalkeeper from Millwall. And they've got the likes of Lee Gregory up front. I mean, it's a good team, you know, nonetheless. I think they'll struggle slightly this season, Mansfield. But don't worry, Mansfield fans, we're going to be joining you next season in League One. Next three then, I've gone with 17th Stevenage, 16th Doncaster and 15th Peterborough. Alex Revell's Stevenage then was a tough one to predict. I put them lower mid-table. However, I feel they're one of them teams in League One this season that could be just outside the playoffs or completely relegated. So I put them just lower mid-table. Just still think, you know, Jamie Reid up front, Tyree Smith, Louis Thompson, Charlie Good at centre-back, as well as also bringing in Jordan Houghton from Plymouth on a free transfer, defensive midfielder there for them. They brought in a lot. Lost Carl Edwards, unfortunately, Elliot List. They'll be one to watch, Stevenage, definitely to see whether they do go really well next season, Stevenage, and maybe push for the playoffs if they do that well, or if it'll be a season of real struggle. Let's talk about Doncaster then, the leading team in League Two last season, finishing top. They were brilliant last season, Doncaster, so quality, and me being a Chesterfield fan, I know we beat them pretty comfortably twice, which is weird. There's no beating around that Doncaster were one of the best teams, well, factually the best team in League Two last season. And I think momentum, like I said, big thing, and I think they will stay up. 16th I've put them. Brought in Matty Pearson, centre-back. Brilliant for them, in my opinion. And I think Graham McCann's the sort of manager that will have ambition at Doncaster Rovers. He'll want to keep them up and maybe even push on. And Peterborough, Darren Ferguson, you know, decent manager. But Peterborough are one of them teams, aren't they, that focus on youth and producing players from non-league and League Two, making them into this brilliant player. Mid-table, 15th for me, Peterborough. Yeah, they'll have a slow season this season, Peterborough. I mean, who knows, if they can gather a bit of money, put it towards next summer, then they could maybe even really push for winning the league next season. However, this season, 15th, mid-table. Yeah. Bradford then, obviously, another team coming up from League Two dramatically on the last day of the season. Their last-minute goal. Can't remember who it was against, but it basically dropped Walsall out of it. Like I said, we talked about it earlier, Josh Nuffield, brilliant for them last season at Wimbledon. Could be a really good addition for Bradford. Stephen Humphreys from Barnsley, Joe Wright from Kilmarnock. Could look interesting for Bradford next season. They've also brought in Jensen Metcalf for his first professional contract now, being he was on loan at Chesterfield last season. This is for you Bradford fans. He is quality in that more attacking role. He is not a pivot central midfielder, I will say that. You keep him fit, he's quality, he'll win you games. He's not one to score, but he's certainly one to create 100%. And you know, League One, he certainly wants a new challenge. I'll be keeping my eye on him for sure. Best luck to him and Bradford for next season. Lincoln City then, mid-table. You know, Lincoln, we're starting to get into the point where teams, you know, the average mid-table finish really. Ethan Erehon, Sean Ruggan, Rauhan, I don't know how you say that. Two key players for them. Moving on to Huddersfield and Bolton. They have brought in Riley Towler from Portsmouth and Sonny Bradley from Derby, which could be interesting. But yeah, like I said, average mid-table finish for me, Lincoln City. Wycombe Wanderers then, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for them. I think they'll have a drop-off. Obviously finished in the playoffs, didn't they, if I remember correctly. It wasn't even that long ago. Dan Casey from Motherwell, young one. Owen Henderson from what club is that? Let's have a quick look. Beerschot VA. Bradley Fink from FC Basel. They brought in a lot of sort of outlandish clubs to get your players from. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's the outlandish sort of players, the ones that go under the radar perform really well. Next three then, I've gone with 11th Blackpool, 10th Barnsley and 9th Leyton Orient. Blackpool's probably quite low for some of you. Now don't get me wrong, they've got a cracking squad. That is, very evident just by looking at their squad at the minute. Tons of quality. But I think they're overrated in the way they play, Blackpool, and I think I just can't put them anywhere near that playoff position. I with the teams above them as well, I just think, I know everyone's putting Blackpool top 3, top 2. I can't see it. Barnsley then obviously brought in David McGoldrick, who was at one point linked by Chesterfield. I never wanted him. We didn't have any room for him with the wage he was asking for as well. However, I do think there's room at Barnsley, and I think there's room for quality at Barnsley as well, which is certainly what David McGoldrick brings as well as his experience. I think they will go well, Barnsley. 10th for me, though, just outside the playoffs. Definitely could have the capability. I said this in the last video as well, to push on for a player position. And Leyton Orient now, again, another team finishing in the playoffs last season. They go to Wembley as well. I'm so slow at remembering stuff. Aaron Connolly from Millwall looks really good for me. Josh Cromer from Huddersfield. Richie Wellens, I think, is an okay manager. He's not too tactical, is he? He certainly gets you results, though. They're 9th though, Leyton Orient, and I think some of the teams above them have just got so much quality. Just outside the playoffs now, in 8th I've gone with Reading and 7th Cardiff City. Noel Hunt is the Reading manager, obviously just been taken over. I think for people to say now they've been taken over, they're going to go storm this league, is a little bit disrespectful to all the other teams in this division. I think their squad is good, but I think, they'll take a season, just surviving, I think, and just winning in League One. The club and their fans have been through so much stuff throughout the last few years, protests and throwing tennis balls on the pitch, that I think they'll probably take a year of just being outside the playoffs and actually having a stable team in League One. Now, do I think the playoffs are possible? Oh, definitely, 100%. But I feel Reading the same way I felt about Chesterfield last season with their first year in EFL. Chesterfield, us as fans, we didn't really care. We just wanted to at least stay in League Two and maybe push for a playoff place, which we eventually got in the end, which was a huge achievement for us. And I feel a little bit like that with Reading. They could definitely go on and push more. I think just outside the playoffs. And Cardiff City, just coming down from the Championship, their squad does look cracking for League One. Yusuf Salech, David Turnbull, I'd say, as well. Callum Robinson has got a CV as well. The squad is quite short, but it's sort of quality over quantity with this one. I think they'll do well, Cardiff. I don't think they'll be like Luton were in the Championship last season. Plummet down, but just outside the playoffs for me. Speaking of the playoffs, let's get into them now. In 6th, I've gone with Stockport, 5th, Luton, 4th, Wigan, and 3rd, Huddersfield. Stockport were okay in League One last season, obviously getting into playoffs. I personally felt that with Stockport, they definitely had the capability to push on for them top 2. They had to settle for the playoffs in the end, which, they eventually lost in the semi-finals to Leyton Orient. I think this one will be slightly more different this season. I think I will have a bit of a drop-off, but knowing the pure experience of Dave Chandler, he'll keep that team in the playoffs and fighting. Corey O'Keefe, a loan from Barnsley. Joseph Olowu from Doncaster. Teo Eden from Peterborough. Just some of the top transfers there. They have lost the likes of Will Collar to MK Dons. Tanto Olowefe to Charlton. Another team with the capability to drop off massively. I think the experience there with Dave Chandler, they'll stay in that playoff picture. Luton now, the second team to come down from the Championship. Another team a lot of people are putting their top 2. not for me. I think the playoffs is realistic for Luton. I'm just looking at the departures. Carlton Morris to Derby, Thelo Asgard to Rangers, Daki Hashioka to, what's that, Red Star? Slavia Prague, my apologies. As well as Kaminsky and Reece Burke to Charlton. Now their squad is good. Alfie Doherty, Tahi Chong and Josh Keeley coming in from Tottenham. They also have a great manager, Matt Bloomfield, who knows, could have sent Wickham up last season at top if he didn't leave. He's back in League One now, and I think he will do well with Luton. Not as well as what some other people are saying. In fourth, I've gone with Wigan. Now, I think their business has been absolutely brilliant. Callum Wright on loan from Plymouth, Paul Mullin on loan from Wrexham, Dara Costolo, I think it's how you say that, my apologies, left winger from Burnley, 400k. That attack in itself is looking really positive. Then you get Sam Tickle in goal, William Aimson. The dark horse for next season, the lead dark horse will be Wigan Athletic. We're getting into the good area now, the top three. In third, obviously I've said Huddersfield. They are very high for maybe some people what they're thinking. Good business again, and it's going to be interesting to see Lee Grant in his first managerial role. But Alfie May from Birmingham is brilliant. He hasn't really got going at Birmingham, but I think on his day he's one of the best in League One. Sean Rohan from Lincoln we talked about, Jack Watmo and Ryan Ledson. 3 transfers from Preston. Then you get the attacking options of Anthony Evans, Marcus Harness. You know, I think the sky's the limit for Huddersfield. Weren't quite at it last season. They had some troubles last season. This season, though, it's their time. Third, though, unfortunately. Top 2 now, I've gone with second, Bolton, and to win the league, Plymouth Argyle. Let's start with Bolton then. Stephen Schumacher, former Plymouth boss. He is a manager who knows how to get a team out of this division. He's proven it before. He has had much luck with Stoke City. John McAtee, you know, Sam Dolby, Joe Randall, Kyle Dempsey, on their days, brilliant. Then you get the likes of Ethan, I can't say his name, Arahan from Lincoln City. Mario Kozia-Jubri from Brighton. That's a loan signing, that is, but that just shows their intent, you know. I think they'll do really well next season, Bolton. And they will go up. However, they will not be champions, as the champions of this season, this League One season, will be Plymouth Argyle. I think Tom Cleverley was really quite unfortunate at Watford. I didn't think he did much wrong at Watford, in all honesty. Watford are a club that are known to sack 3 managers every month. But I think he's a quality manager with a top quality squad, and I can see him winning this league with Plymouth. For now, they've kept on to Barley Mumba, apparently. Don't know how true this is. This is on Transfer Market, so I'm going off it. Brendan Waidu, Jack McCanny from Aberdeen. And Ben Peppel, I forgot about him, gone to Plymouth. Was at Chesterfield on loan for half a season last season, and Chester fans, you're not going to like this, but I wasn't a big fan of him at all. I didn't think he reminded me of Shamanga, who the neutrals won't know, but he was basically this striker who's really, really good, but couldn't fit the Cook system, and that was the same with Peppel. Couldn't fit the Cook system. Will he do well at Plymouth? Who knows? You know, I wish him well. One thing that is about Ben Peppel is that he certainly puts a shift in. Back up to Plymouth though, I think looking at their team, I can 100% see them getting 90, 100 points. I think they'll storm, well, not quite storm, but I think they'll really, really do better than what people think they will. And they'll go up as champions, Plymouth. So that is my list. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for the support on the recent videos. It's meant the world to me, so thank you all so much for your support. But for now, that's it from me. I will see you all soon. Have a fantastic day, guys. Bye bye.